So the current economic expansion has run on for a little over 10 years now. It's actually the longest on record for the North American economy. And one of the questions we get all the time is, can this thing run on any longer still? And we think the short answer is that yes, it can. If we go back to the start of the year, we were seeing a lot of factors out there that were suggesting maybe we were late in the game, maybe that the cycle was at risk of tipping over. Equity markets had been correcting. The Federal Reserve had raised rates 9 times. The yield curve in North America was inverting. And at that point, we were of the view that we were to watch the Fed very closely in 2019. And if they were to raise rates 2 or 3 more times, then yes, we'd probably be at risk of seeing the economy slip over into recession at some point in 2020. But what they did was actually just the opposite. They came out and cut rates 3 times. And I think that because this cycle has some unique characteristics, like very low and stable inflation as one example, it's afforded the Federal Reserve this luxury to go out, cut interest rates, support the expansion, and let it run on for quite a bit longer still. And we've seen a few cases historically where this has been the case. In the late 1990s cycle is one good example that actually looks very similar to the one we're seeing today, in that it was a long cycle led by technology in the US, and a number of factors outside the US economy tripped up the US expansion a little bit later on. And in 1998, the Federal Reserve came out and cut interest rates 3 times, coincidentally enough, and extended that cycle by another 2 years or so. The difference this time is that unlike the 1990s, when the Fed shortly thereafter had to come out and raise interest rates pretty aggressively, this time around, there's very little inflation to speak of, and we don't think the Federal Reserve is going to move at all. If interest rates are relatively flat right through the end of next year, and we don't see the Federal Reserve moving, that probably sets us up for an environment where what is already a historically long economic expansion can continue to run on for at least a few years yet still.